Sima, are you okay? Sharing your screen? Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, members of Group A.
Okay. So our Group A, came up with an article by Karen Olesen and Michael D. Millers. So this article is about trying to improve communication and elaboration with information technology. So these are the slides are going to go through what's the research problem, what has been done by others regarding the problem, what gap do they identify from the research others haven't done, all that. So let me go to the first one. So I will present for you slide number 1 and slide number 2, and Christine will present for you slide number 3, and slide number 4, and then Brian will present the rest. So this is the overview of what we're going to present to you, the background of the article, the research problem. So the background is that the authors provided a background information on the importance of effective communication and elaboration with organizations concerning information technology system development. That they highlight the challenges organizations face in this regard and the potential benefits of successful IT implementation. So this article was a failure of an action research project focused on improving communication and elaboration with information technology within an organization. So so this is the methodology and the findings of the research. The authors describe the action research methodology employed in the project, emphasizing its nature and it's how it actually does and everything. So the detail that they detail that the steps are taken in this research project research progress, including problem identification, intervention design, implementation, evaluation, and reflection. So we also had the findings, but I'm not going to go through all this. This is the overview, so I don't know. It's just the overview. So what was the research problem? So the research problem was addressed in this article. In this article was the failure of the action research focused on improving communication and elaboration with information technology within an organization. So they failed to focus on improving communication and elaboration within the article, according to the article. So this article was addressed to the failure of action with the failure of an action research program focused on improving communication and collaboration with information technology within an organization. So what research has been done by others regarding the problem? So the research in the field of information system and organizational development has explored various strategies and approaches for enhancing communication and collaboration. Using communication technology, this may include studies on implementation of collaboration of software communication protocols or organizational change management practices. So I don't know if Christine's around. She can present the other one, the other slides.
Yes, I'm around. You can go to the next slide. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to present the third question and the fourth. And the third question was, what gap do they identify from the research others have done? And this is what we identified, that Olsen and Myers identified the gap between the theoretical understanding of how to improve communication and collaboration with information technology and the practical challenges faced during the implementation process. And despite the existence of theoretical frameworks and previous research, there was a lack of guidance on how to effectively execute these strategies in real-world organizational contexts. So that is what we were able to identify. Okay, there we go. Another question, the fourth one. And it was, how did they solve or tackle the research problem? And this is what we identified. The researchers employed an action research methodology to tackle the research problem. And action research involves the critical process of problem identification, intervention, evaluation, and reflection with the aim of generating practical knowledge and facilitating organizational change. And however, despite their efforts, the project ultimately failed to achieve its intended objectives. And by the way, they never got a solution to their problem. So that's what we had for those two questions. So you can go to the next slide for Brian to present too. I don't know if he's around. Brian, are you around?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, the internet's
okay. So you can go on
issues. Okay, so what?
Brian, you can go on.
You're supposed to present
for the last questions.
Okay. So what were the results of their research? So the results of the research project were not successfully in achieving the desired improvements in communication and collaboration with information technology, but instead the authors reflected on the reasons for that failure, including issues related to organizational culture, power dynamics, and resistance to change, which indicates that they had the only issue was the change in the way they did things. So yeah. Okay. And what was the research approach and the research methods and tools they used? Now, the research approach used in the study was action research, which involves collaboration between researchers, practitioners to address real-world problems. The methods and tools employed likely included qualitative data collection techniques such as interviews, observations, documents, analysis, and as well as participatory approaches to engage stakeholders in the research process. However, the specific details about the research methods and tools utilized would be outlined in the article itself. All right. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you, Group A, for your presentation. I don't know if the next group is available so that I can make a general comment at once. Next group, Group B. Abaina, I see you're here. I don't see Simon Peter.
Still trying to find we can share our work.
Okay, please do it. Abena, are you okay?
Yes, madam, we're still trying to share the screen.
Okay. Abena, if it's not possible, maybe another group could present while you sort out the technical side. In the interests of time.
Yes, madam, please, we need some like 3 minutes.
Okay. Group C. Ayabara, I see you're there. I think you're in group C, aren't you? We have Ayabare, Regina is there, and Manzi was already here. So could, sorry, I have a cough. Could the three of you present your work? Is it possible you could make it horizontal? This is barely visible. That's better. Sorry, what is happening? Hello? The Ayavare group, what is going on? Regina?
Yes, madam. We are trying to share this phone, but
Okay. How about the group of Gilbert? You try your luck. Gilbert, Ronald, Emmanuel. I don't see Emmanuel in the class. What exactly is the problem with sharing? What has caused the challenge? Edgar, can you now try and share? Is it possible for you to share?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, please.
On this computer that I'm trying to share the screen on, it doesn't give me that option of sharing. It keeps like showing me share the entire screen, and what when I try sharing it again cancels itself off. I don't know why.
Hmm. Is there another person with another computer? Can you try on another computer to share?
Okay, let me try some other here.
I'm going to share my screen.
Please do.
Everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Our article was about those who listen and Myers trying to improve communication and collaboration with information technology, an action research project which failed. That was specifically the title of the article. Let's begin with the abstract. abstract is like a simple summary or a simple review of what the article is all about. So this article discusses the use of information technology to facilitate communication and collaboration. In this action research project, a groupware product called Lotus Notes TM was implemented to facilitate communication and collaboration amongst the senior management team. Although there was a real need for change, and the project received strong support from senior management on the basis that it would enable radical changes in coordination within the work group. These radical changes did not occur. The authors analyzed the reasons for failure and suggest that the project failed because of institutional forces which inhibited dramatic changes in work habits. So this article defines the research problem, which is failure in information technology to facilitate the communication and collaboration. So let's begin here. Now my next slide, stating the research problem. I think that is the first question. The research problem addressed in the article is the failure to achieve significant changes in work habits and organizational structure despite the introduction of groupware technology. Specifically, the Lotus Notes TM, as it was mentioned in the abstract, in a tertiary education institution in New Zealand. The authors aim to understand the relationship between the implementation of groupware and organizational change, focusing on the senior management team. That is all with my part in the presentation. Let me leave Edgar to continue with the next part.
The next question was what research had been done by others regarding the problem? So there's research in the area of groupware primarily relied on laboratory experiments in artificial settings. While these studies provided insights, they often did not reflect the complexities of the real-world organizational dynamic. As in the research was more theoretical but not practical in the real world. And then the other question was, what gap did they identify from the research that others had done? And the gap that they identified was the lack of research conducted in organizational contexts, considering the broader and social institutional factors influencing the adoption and use of groupware. So I think the next problem can be handled by Precious.
Precious, are you there?
Yeah. So the next part is how did they solve or tackle the research problem? To tackle the research problem, the authors conducted an action research project. An action research project involves researchers collaborating with practitioners to address real-world problems and enact change or bring about change. That is also another word for enact. In this case, the researchers worked with the senior management team of the educational institution to implement Lotus and Notes TM and observe its effects on work habits and organizational structure. The next part, Simon. Simon, the next part.
Simon, are you there?
Yes, the last part is there.
So I think that was our research that we made briefly on the coursework that was given to us. And there is also this one. What was their research approach and research methods that and research tools, and what research tools did they use? The research approach employed in this study was action research, which emphasizes collaboration between researchers and practitioners to address practical problems. The researchers used qualitative research methods such as interviews. I think we all know what interviews are. And interviews where you go distributing or interviewing one-to-one person for any information that you're trying to research on to or to get from the people. And also there was observations whereby one goes to a certain field that you are interested in, maybe where you want to carry research on, and then make clear, keen observation of what you want. Maybe you're looking at, for example, minerals. Maybe you're looking at some kinds of species or rather species of trees, maybe somewhere, maybe stones, maybe anything you are making research about. Then you go and make keen observation, then come out with a clear research of that particular thing that you're working on. And then another method was document analysis. Document analysis, maybe to my understanding, refers to something that to documents that have been that have existed before, but then you go into inner reading or inner analyzing, or you take deeper reading in those documents that have been on, so that you can add on to what you have already researched, okay, to what you have researched about already, so that you can have a rich research that you need. So we have the three methods. We have interviews, observations, and the document analysis to gather data on the implementation of the notice team and its impact on the organization. These methods allowed them to capture the nuanced interactions and dynamics within the organization and understand why the expected changes did not materialize. And I think that is our last part of the discussion.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Simon, Peter, and members. Okay,
You're
the
welcome, madam.
others, Group B, Group C.
Yes, it was group B.
That was Group B.
Yes.
Is that Group B? Let me just confirm. Yes, that was group B. So group C and group D. Ayebare and group. Are you there? Kiza, Regina. Okay.
Yes, madam.
This is now group D, I think.
It's group C.
Yes, Gilbert. What could be the challenge? Maybe you could pass me your presentation and I share it for you.
He's asking, can he share the work on email? How does he share it so that you can
You can
forward
share it
them
with me
into
on
group
email.
on email?
Okay, group, I think this is group C. Can you go ahead and present?
Good morning, everyone.
Sorry, Raymond, you're not coming through. Hello, Raymond.
Yes, madam.
Okay, we were not getting anything through.
Yes, Mark is starting with the presentation.
Okay, okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Trevor. I'm going to be presenting with Manzi and Regina. So the first question, we decided to go with Olesen and Myers article of 1999. The first question is, what was the research problem? According to what we found out, the problem was understanding the factors influencing the adoption and use of technology in the workplace, particularly in the context of computer-supported collaborative work systems. By those, some systems include Zoom for conferences, for online video conferencing, plus other emails. Next. Oh, Manzi, next slide. Oh, Manzi. Okay, so the next question is, what research had been done by others regarding the problem? So the first point will be prior research and adoption and use of technology. By this, earlier on, before, because this article were almost like a failure they were dealing with that had happened earlier on. And that period, as I was searching for adoption and use of technology, a lot came up. So that keep changing ideas, though it wasn't successful. Another point is, okay, let me rephrase that. So like a research problem that had been done by others, this one. So okay, anyway, now we're back, just understanding something. By the problems, okay, according to research before, these are the results that gotten out of it. First of all, studies on individual characteristics, whereby they had to move out and understand people's ideas and perception when it comes to introduction of other devices within the working environment. Another thing were organizational factors, whereby you might be having a small, let's say, 2-storage building, but not that building, starting from the chairman, it's not necessarily that line of hierarchy from the board of governors, chairman, the CEO, and everything. And at some point, why the first research article they're carrying out was a failure, because at some point, the big guys may accept, let's say, like the board of governors might accept an idea, yet the other staff may not accept. So this made it a challenge for them to come up. And also another point as a failure, next technological factors, whereby at that time, before the devices that were around for computing weren't advanced as they are right now. So it's kind of made it hard for them to implement what their entire research was about, improving and everything out of that. Yeah. The next is socio-technical features. And by that, there's a socio-technical, I mean, like I, the worker, plus another client, let's say, okay, maybe the client, and another person who's like the networking guy or part of my sales team. And out of this might affect a business. Take for instance, maybe a company like MTN might come to Umu wanting to some technical and social features among the students. Some may not take it lightly, or some may not take it lightly, might have some bias on it, whereas others will go with it. Next point was user attributes, and by this, we all have different characteristics and perception when it comes to certain ideas being presented. So people might be having a positive attitude towards an idea, and whereas some may be having a negative one. This later affected the rest, and therefore that's why the first research failed. Yeah, then the system is ability. Before, let me solve before bring it up. At the moment, the systems were like around different servers or different workstations around in one available like on computer lab. But then because of that, some people may not be knowing how to use some devices. Let's say like a system, like a medical system, or the e-learning system and Zoom within us. We are chief education community. The more people don't know how to use the systems and logging in and everything's affected that first research. People also trying to implement this. As I bring it up, some people didn't have the idea on how to use it. This later on affected, and it's the failure of the first research that they had to now come through again. It's all the Sen and Myers had to come through again and find out what might not have gone as intended. Next is perceived usefulness. Perceived usefulness. Okay. I have not explained that point, but I'll let Manzi go through with the next slide.
Next slide. What gap do they identify from the research others had done? They had identified a gap related to adoption of technology in the workplace, particularly in the context of computer-supported collaborative work system. That's a bit clear. They found that previous studies often focused on individual or organizational factors in isolation and lacked a comprehensive understanding of the interplay between these factors. Additionally, I observed the need for more nuanced examinations of how different contextual factors interacted to influence technology adoption and use within organizations. Therefore, their study aimed to address these gaps by providing a more integrated and holistic analysis of the factors shaping the computer-supported collaborative work system adoption and utilization. Basically, they are trying to say that people used to work individually, and they were trying to bridge that gap to provide a more integrated, like a one type of thing working. How did they solve the problem, or how they tackled the problem? The problem of non-integration. So they conducted a qualitative study using a grounded theory approach. Grounded theory, this is the same as inductive approach. They collected data through interviews, observations, and documental analysis within two groups that had implemented computer-supported collaborative work systems. By employing a grounded theory methodology, they aim to develop a theoretical understanding of the factors influencing CSCW adoption and use within organizational contexts. This approach allowed them to explore the interplay between individual, organizational, and technological factors in shaping employees' attitudes and behaviors towards the system. Through iterative data analysis and theoretical sampling, they were able to identify key themes and relationships, ultimately contributing to a richer understanding of the complexities surrounding technology adoption in the workplace. Basically, they conducted grounded theory on ground and included sampling and data analysis, which helps them to solve the problem. Yeah. Regina is taking us on to the next slide.
Number 6 and number 7. Let me start with number 6. What were the results of their research? Olsen and Meyer's research identified several key factors influencing the adoption and use of computer-supported collaborative work systems within organizations. This included perceived usefulness. Employees were more likely to adopt CSCW systems when they perceived them as beneficial for their work tasks and goals. Another is system integration.
Regina, you're barely audible.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. The first point is perceived usefulness. Employees were more likely to adopt CSCW systems when they perceived them as beneficial for their work tasks and goals. Another one was system integration. The extent to which CSCW systems were integrated into employees' daily work routines and workflows affected their adoption and usage. Another one is organizational support. Support from management and colleagues, as well as organizational policies and practices, played a crucial role in facilitating the adoption and use of CSW systems. Training and learning. Adequate training and opportunities for learning how to effectively use CSCW systems were important for employees' confidence and proficiency in utilizing the technology. User participation, involving users in the design and implementation of CSCW systems, increased their sense of ownership and commitment to using the technology. The study highlighted the complex interplay between individual, organization, and the technical factors in shaping employees' attitudes and behaviors towards CSCW systems, providing valuable insights for both researchers and the practitioners in the field of technology adoption and replace. Number 7 was, what was their research approach? What research tools did they use? Olsen and Myers employed a qualitative research approach, specifically using a grounded theory methodology to tackle their research problem. Grounded theory is a systematic methodology that allows researchers to develop theories grounded in the data collected during the research process. The research methods used in their study included They conducted in-depth interviews with employees at 2 organizations that had implemented computer supportive work or CSCW systems. These interviews allowed them to gather rich detailed insights, attitudes, and behaviors related to the use of CSW systems. Another method was observations. Olsen and Myers also conducted observations of employees in CSCW systems in their natural work environments. This method provided them with first-hand observations of how the technology was being used in practice and allowed them to capture contextual nuances that might not have been apparent through interviews alone. They analyzed relevant documents such as organizational policies, training materials, and system documentation to gain additional insights into the organizational context and support structures surrounding the adoption and use of CW systems. As for tools, they likely used qualitative data analysis software such as to manage and analyze their data efficiently. This allows researchers to organize, code, analyze qualitative data, facilitating the identification of patterns, themes, and relationships within the data. Additionally, they may have used the traditional methods such as note-taking and transcription services to manage and analyze their qualitative data. That's what we managed to gather in Group C. Thank you.
Okay, that was, I think that was was that Group B? No, that was Group C. So it's Group D left. Group D, can you quickly give us your presentation? Oh, Gilbert shared his. Let me just download it quickly and share it for you. Okay, can you all see the screen? So Gilbert and Tim, I think you can begin your presentation. Just let me know whether to move to the next page.
Okay, madam, thank you. But that's the abstract.
Would you like me to move to the next page?
No,
Stay here.
Okay, take me on the next page, madam. Okay, members, the abstract. just discussing the use of information technology. Use of information technology to facilitate communication and collaboration. And under this research project, a groupware product called Lotus Notes TM was implemented to facilitate communication and collaboration among the senior management team. Although they tell us that they were a real need for change, and project received strong support from the senior management. On the basis that it would enable radical change in coordination within the group work, within the work group. So the first question was, what was their research program? And according to us, we managed to get a research program, and that is research.
Sorry, Gilbert, you're fading.
What?
You're going, your volume is going low.
Okay. I was trying to discuss the first question.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question was, what was their research program of the article? So the research program resolves around so this is the research program under this slide that we've managed to come up with. And the problem is the failure to achieve the significant changes in work habit and organization structure, despite the introduction of a groupware to facilitate communication and collaboration within the senior management team of a tertiary education institute in New Zealand. And to understand the relationship between the introduction of a groupware and organization. So that was the problem of the research, which was, okay, it was trying to elaborate to us that despite this groupware was introduced, but there was a failure to achieve a significance or to achieve its positive aid to the people. So, so the failure of that groupware to facilitate communication and collaboration within a senior management team was one of the major problems in that article. So, Madam, proceed to the next page. Okay, the next question is, what research had been done by others regarding to the program of the article? And from the article, we had seen that there was a previous research in the area of a group where mainly relied on laboratory experiment in artificial settings. This research suggested potential benefits, but failed to address the real-world challenges of implementing a groupware in an organization. So, here we see that there was other research done in that area of New Zealand. And that research we are mainly relied on laboratory experiment or implementing the artificial setting or artificial staffs. And this research, they're telling us that the potential benefits, this research suggested the potential benefits, but it failed to address its real world challenges implement a group where in an organization. Next slide, madam. Madam,
Yes, please. The previous one was this. So this is the gap. Should I move to the next one?
I need page, yeah. Okay. This question telling us what gap do they identify from others have done. Okay. From the article, we see that the gap identified by the author lies in the transaction of theoretical benefits of the group we are. The theoretical, the author identified that the gap lies in transaction of theoretical benefits, translation of theoretical benefits of the group we are into a tangible change within organization context. So they observed that while laboratory experiments suggested a potential improvement, the reality of an organization structure and culture often posed significant barriers to implement of a group where, and hindered its ability to bring about substantial change. So here they try to tell us that the difference between the author identified the difference, and that difference lies between in translation of theoretical benefits of the group where into a tangible change within organization context. So they observed that while laboratory experiment that even if there was that laboratory experiment that was introduced before this experiment or this article or this research, the experiment suggests potential improvement and reality of organization structures and culture often posed significant implementation of groupware and hindered its ability to bring out substantial changes. So, madam, can you please proceed to the next page? So here we are. So how do they sort of all tackle the research problems? So, okay, from the article, we had seen that the author tackled the research problem by actively engaging with stakeholders, adapting an action research approach, correcting qualitative data, analyzing findings, and engaging with reflective practices. Through these strategies, they aimed to gain deeper insights into the relationship between the introduction of groupware and the change in work habits and organization structures within the context of what? Within the context of an organization. So yeah, they try to tell us that the author of this article or this research actively engaged with the stakeholders, like the people who use to identify the problem of using the problem associated with IT and in context of communication. So the officer here actively engaged with the stakeholder. The stakeholder can be the person who using IT, the company who like purchasing or manufacturing the software or the hardware that can be used under this research. And they also adopt an action research approach, like to solve such problems, or such that they can come out with a proper solution for that problems. And they also engaged in collecting qualitative data and analyzing that data collected, that qualitative data that they have managed to collect. They have tried to analyze them, and they also engaged in effective practice with the stakeholders through this strategy. So they continue to tell us that through these strategies, they aimed to gain deeper insight into a relationship between the introduction of this software and the changes in work habits and structures within the context of the organization. Next page, madam. So this is the last page, I think, and under this page we have a question, which is what was their research approach, research methods, and research tools did they use while they carrying out their research or while they doing in that article. So here under the research approach, we have that we see that employing an action research approach, the author thought to address the research problem by actively engaging with the stakeholders involved in implementation of a groupware. So by doing that, so the author tells us that he or she, okay, I think she was a lady. She actively engaged with stakeholders, like the person who are supposed to use this software or the groupware software, such that and she also made an action research involves a collaborative and iterative process of problem solving, where researchers work alongside practitioners to identify issues, implement solutions, and evaluate outcomes in real life. So, no, first go back.
Sorry, should I move to the next slide?
Yeah, I need that next slide. Next slide, the last slide. So I was talking about the research approach that we are used while carrying out that research or in that article. And we had seen that action research involves collaborative and iterative process of problem solving was done during the research, where the researchers alongside the practitioners where the researchers works alongside with the practitioners of the firmware or the software or the IT to identify the issue such that they can identify the problem and implement solution. And they try to get a solution for that problem. And lastly, they evaluate the outcomes to the real world, or they come out with the
Sorry, Gilbert, you've fallen off. Is that
Oh, I
again?
was trying to. Are you getting me now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about the research methods that were used in that in that research, and these methods we had seen that involves observing the implementation process. That's one of the methods. Gathering qualitative data, it's also another. And another methods used while carrying out of this research, and we had seen also interviewing the stakeholders, and also observations, and also analyzing analyzing the collected data and perception of stakeholders. So those are those are some of the methods we used while carrying out that research, because we have seen gathering qualitative data and interview of the stakeholders, observation of the problems of the research, and trying to analyze the data such that they come out with a proper solution for that problem. So the research tools, the tools that were used, we have in this research, there is the Lotus ATM, that software itself. It's one of the tools used while carrying out this research. So since it serves as a groupware product intended to facilitate communication and cooperation within different organizations or stakeholders, it's one of the tools used while carrying out that research. And besides that, we also have utilized the qualitative research tools such as interview and observation in order to gather some data and experience plus the challenges and the outcomes from the stakeholders. Okay, thank you, madam. I think that will.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you all for your presentations. I don't have time. I don't think, since you have a lecture at 11, I don't have much time, but I want to make several general comments. One, can you all go back and find out what is a research problem? I think I made efforts to explain clearly what a research problem is. And what all of you have pointed out is not a research problem, but an organizational problem. An organization trying to improve its communication is not a research problem. It's an organizational problem, not research. Another most significant thing is, what is the difference between a research approach, a research method, and a research tool? So these things we've talked about over and over and over again. Another group decided to state its own findings rather than talking about the findings in the article. Okay, the findings in the article. When we're asked to analyze, to read somebody's work, we don't come up with our own findings. We talk about the findings of the researcher. Research is about facts. Okay, it's not about imagination. It's about facts. It's not how well we can imagine, but about facts that are found in the field. So the most significant things I want you to all go back and look at, because I can sincerely tell you those major parts you absolutely didn't get. What is a research problem? Okay, what is a research problem? Interestingly, some of you really pointed out the gap, which gap points to the research problem, but you insisted on pulling out the organizational problem. The research gap points to the research problem, because the research gap is what identifies the research problem. Okay, so all of you didn't get that right, and definitely on the research, most of you on research method didn't get it right. Okay, research gap Go and find what is a research gap, what is a research problem, and what is a research tool. They're all quite different. Okay? Can you do that while I allow you to go for your next lecture?
Madam.
Okay. So